Welcome to Miss Black's video for your website, Activity 3, CAB Unit 2 Animal Shelter. You'll be required to design and build a website for this activity. So I just wanted to explain what it is that you need to do and what the overview is, how you design your website and how you build the website in order to meet the CAB specifications. Okay. So the shelter needs a website to persuade people to donate, volunteer and sponsor. You must create 3 pages, a home page for information on the animals that the shelter cares for, a giving page that contains information about donating with a link to a video advert, and a volunteer page providing information on volunteering with a link to your digital poster. All must link together, okay, and you can add any other pages that you would like to. In the design stage of your website, you'll be expected to make a structure diagram to show how the pages link together. It needs to show the title of each page and it needs to show how the pages link together. I'm going to show you later on in the video how I would like this laid out and how you're going to do it. Another thing that you'll be required to do, write a storyboard for each of the pages. You'll need to include a background and the layout, font colours and font sizes and styles, description of assets, so pictures, videos, sound, any live web feeds that you might want to include, and you'll need to include information on links to other pages, whether that be another page in your website or another page in another website. In the early stage of development, you need to ask for feedback, get some test buddy feedback and include this in your Activity 3 review. The final section of the website is to actually build it. The first thing you're going to need to do is gather and prepare the videos, the images, the sound, the text, anything that you want to use for your website. Put it into your assets folder, make sure that you're linking up those sources and checking that all of your sources are up to date, and then putting them in a separate assets folder so that you have everything ready to use. Once you have collected all your assets, you are then going to start to build your website using Serif Web Plus, which I'm going to give you a short tutorial on later in the video. Again, in the early stages of development, you're asking for feedback from the teacher and the test buddy, and then making any changes if necessary, and including these in your Activity 3 review. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the structure diagram that I would like you to complete to basically show how your pages are going to link together. So I've started this one here. Each box will basically represent the page, and the word written in it is the name of the page. Quite simple, quite straightforward. The arrow basically shows how the pages link together. And I've put a quick label on there just to show that these 2 pages will link via a hyperlink. It may be that they link via a hotspot, it could be that they link via a linked image or some linked text. It's entirely up to you, but for the purposes of this I'm just going to use a straightforward hyperlink. Okay, so I'm showing currently here that my home page links to my donating page via a hyperlink. So to finish off this structure diagram, I'm just going to insert a square like that, and I'm going to call this the volunteering page. I'm going to make my font a bit bigger, and I'm going to draw another arrow across from my home page, where my home page will link to my volunteering page, and it's going to be a hyperlink again. So I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to paste it and pop it over here, and that's basically all we need. It's not too much. I'm also going to have a link between donating and volunteering, so I'm just going to show with that another arrow going across here. Obviously if you add any other pages, if you choose to add more pages, then those will need to be included in your structure diagram. Okay, once you've done your structure diagram, you're then looking at your storyboard. Now this is the basic structure for the storyboard that I would like you to follow. All it does is basically show what exactly is going to go where. I don't need lots of images, I don't need specific text or specific videos. All I need is a frame that shows me roughly the amount of space it is going to take up on your page, and a short one-word description or two-word description of what it is. Some of you can do this by hand if you want to. I've chosen to do it on the computer purely because I can copy and paste these boxes and resize them and reshape them, and I think it just looks much neater. But it's purely down to personal preference. So just to finish this one off down here, I think I might have this as perhaps a Twitter feed, perhaps, from the animal shelter. Can I spell animal shelter? And then that's that page finished. So the final part of our video is how to use Serif Web Plus. Obviously I wasn't sure how many of you have used this software before, how many haven't, so I started right from the beginning basically with starting a new site and adding new pages and colour schemes and layouts and that sort of thing. So the first thing you need to do, this is the first screen that you will see when you open your Serif Web Plus X5. You need to click on Start a New Site. This will bring up a single blank page, which you can see here. All of your pages will appear in this right hand side of your screen in a list. This little eyeball that you can see here shows that this is the page that you are currently looking at. Be careful, because when you try to change pages, unless you double click on a page, it will not change. So sometimes you can think you're working on one page when actually you're working on a completely different one. So be careful with that. We're first of all going to look at our master page. Now our master page is really important because everything that we put on our master page will filter down and show on all of our other pages in the website. And this is important because this means that we can get a consistent design running throughout the whole of the website, and also it means that we don't have to copy and paste specific items like the navigation bar or the background colour. Before we start on the master page, I'm going to add my two other pages. I do this either by pressing the add new page link here, or by clicking on my quick builder bar and dragging the page onto the screen, one or the other. At the very top here, I need to change the name of the page. So I'm going to call this the volunteering page. In fact, I just call it volunteering and click OK. And now my page has appeared down here. I'm going to add one more page and we're going to call this one donating. And we're going to click OK. And there are my pages there. As you can see, I'm currently on the donating page because my little blue eyeball is on there. So we're going to go back to the master page now. Now the master page, like I said before, everything that goes onto the master page filters down onto all the other pages. So we're going to put important things on here that we would like to appear on all of the pages. So we're going to start with the colour scheme. For this we're going to use Colour Scheme Designer. There are a number of colour schemes down this right hand side, all relating to different aspects of your website. At the moment we're just going to think about the background colour. The background colour is actually Scheme Colour 1. Why they don't just call it background colour, I have no idea, but they don't. And I'm going to choose, what colour might I have for an animal shelter? I'm going for a nice blue. If I can find one, a nice sky blue, that'll do. Okay, and I'll click OK. And that has now changed the background. If I go onto my main home page, it has also changed that background. It's also changed that background on my donating page, and it's also changed on my volunteering page. So what is on my master page has now filtered down. The next thing that I might want to add to my main page is a navigation bar. In order to do that, I click on the navigation bar button and I drag it onto my page. Okay, and as you can see, a number of options instantly appear. This is the block category, and there are all these options in here. Then we've got another graphic category with various other styles and options. Another category here with more styles, another, and we've just got loads and loads and loads and loads. So I'm just going to have a quick flick through. I'm going to pick one that I like. I quite like that one, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to click OK. And now that's going to appear on my page like that. I also want to change the size of my page. It's a bit long and narrow. I want it more wide to fit a more widescreen computer. So I'm going to right click and go to properties, and I'm going to change my page size to 1024 pixels by 768. And this just basically means that my page will fit without having to scroll up or down, which can be useful because it means that all the information is right there for the user as soon as they look at it. As you can see on my navigation bar, the pages have automatically appeared. If you create a navigation bar and you can only see a tab for the home page, double check that you have actually added all the pages, because usually that's the reason why they don't appear in the navigation bar, as you haven't got enough pages. So another thing that I want to do is to change the colour of my navigation bar. And so for this, I'm going to click on the Colour Scheme Designer, and again I'm going to look to these drop down options here. Scheme Colour 3 is actually the colour for the navigation bar, so I'm just going to quickly change it to a blue and click OK. And now it's changed colour. And I think I'm going to position it somewhere over here on the left. Okay, so if I now have a quick look at my other pages, this is what my other pages look like. Now you will notice that even though I've changed the size of the page on the master page, this does not filter down to my other pages. Unfortunately, this is something that won't ever happen. You will have to go back and manually change the size of all the other pages if you do choose to change the size of the pages. It's not something I'm going to do now, but it would be if I was building this website for real. As you can also see, I'm currently on the home page. The navigation bar can't be moved, I can't touch it, I'm clicking on it and I can't do anything with it at all. This is because it does not exist on my home page, it exists on my master page. So if you're furiously trying to click something and nothing's happening, it's probably because you're not on the correct page. To make any changes, I need to go back to my master page, and from there I can make any changes and move things. So the next thing that we need to think about is layout guides. And now we're going to talk a bit more next week in the lesson about layouts and how these work. So for now I'm just going to show you briefly some layout guides that you can set up for yourself to help you when you're designing your website to make it look more attractive. So these layout guides are in here. You can choose to have a number of different rows and columns to help you lay out your work in an effective manner so that it looks better and more pleasing to the eye. So for example, I might choose to have 2 rows and 3 columns in my page. And I click OK and it sets up these kind of dotted lines. Now these won't be visible on your actual website. However, what it does is it structures my page so that I can begin to place my objects in this kind of area, and that I get them to a correct size and a correct proportion to make them look equal and make them look more attractive. The next thing that I could do, or I need to do, is to be able to add text and images. If I want to add something like a word art or a large piece of text for like a title or a header, I can use the artistic text flyout. And I click on that. I draw the size of the letter that I want. So I've got a really, really big piece of text here. After that, I can then resize it whatever size I like. So I'm just going to change it to that, and I'm going to put it at the top there. This is now on my home page. If I want a text box, I can use the text frames flyout, and I click on the little text box and I just draw it, and I can type in and my information is typed in there. It's very straightforward. Insert picture from file, and then all I have to do is simply find my assets folder, which is in here somewhere. Assets, there we go. I'm going to use my Puppy 2, and you simply draw the size that you would like the picture to be. Okay, and that's my image that has been added there. If I would like to add a video, I go to Insert, Media, Video. I need to browse for it, which I will find again on my assets folder because I've gathered all my assets and I put them into one place so that I know where they are. I then need to come down to these options down here. If you choose the icon display, then it will display any one of these icons and the user can click on them to play the video. However, I think it looks much better if you use the inline mode, which basically embeds the video into the page, so it actually shows on the page. You can click on options to start as soon as the page loads or loop continuously. Be careful with these because they don't always work effectively, so I tend not to use them, and click OK. And again, you get a box to draw, and what you will get is a box that looks like that. When you actually preview your site properly, which I'll show you in a minute, the video actually appears, but for now it just stays like that. The next thing that you could add to improve the look of your website is a photo gallery, and there are various different functions. All you do is you drag and you drop the photo gallery onto your page and it opens this window. You can have this style of photo gallery, you could have this style of photo gallery, or you could have this one. It's entirely up to you. I quite like this one, so I'm going to go ahead and use that one. I'm going to add some files, so I'm just going to add these two pictures, and these are the pictures that are now going to be in my photo gallery. You may have a lot more if you collected a lot more assets. You then click next. Okay. This then brings you to your options. So for this one example, there is no skin around it. All it does is change the picture every few seconds, which could add a nice sleek look to your website. Or you can choose to go with something different where the user can have some interactivity with it. They can decide how and when they change the pictures. And there are various different colours that you can go with. There are various different styles that you can go with. And on the right hand side here, you can change the colours to other things. Okay? And you can change the colours of the navigation bar, which is this bit here. When you click finish, it appears on your page like this. It is rather large at the moment, so I can just go ahead and resize it. It'll resize the image with it, and then I might just place it down there. That will continue to play unlike the video. So if I wanted to make a button, for example, and I wanted to turn this image into a button so we could click on it and go to a animal shelter website, for example, all I need to do is right click and go to hyperlink, internet page, because it is a website outside of my own website that I want to link to. If it was a page within my own website that I wanted to link to, then I could click on site page and then simply choose from the pages that are available. But because it is a website that I want to look at, I'm going to do that. Delete what is in there and just type in www. and then whatever the web address might be. So in this case it's rspca.co.uk, and click OK. And so when I run that, I will be able to click on that and it will take me to the RSPCA website. The last thing that I'm going to show you is how to preview your site so that it looks like a proper website. So all you need to do is have a look at this little tiny button at the top here. Click the little arrow next to it, and be careful because there are two options. You can either choose to preview the page, which will just preview the one page, or you can preview the site, and it gives you the option for Mozilla Firefox or for Internet Explorer. So I'm going to preview the site in Internet Explorer. Always allow the blocked content because it allows things like your video and your photo gallery to appear. So as you can see, got my video working there. We've got my picture here, which is now a link which I can click on, that is going to take me to a website, the RSPCA website, and I can go back. My photo gallery is changing. Obviously you'll add a caption to yours. I've got my text there, and I can change pages as well. Obviously I've got nothing on those pages, but those pages change.